This is not the internet. This is the metaverse. Hello pioneers. Today we're going to do a video on Stellar and I'm going to cover the farming of kale, which I've talked to you about in the past. So as you know, I've been following one of the devs over there called Tyler Van der Hoven, right? And he's been a developer over there since November 2019. And yeah, he's doing all this kale stuff, right? So what we had was, we've got these passkeys and smart wallets, right? And so he developed this Soropass demo, right, which just showed that, the signing up, creating wallets. Then he did Safeguard to do these stateful policy signers, which I've showed you all this before, right? So all these sub-wallets, right? And in his past, Tyler used to be a farmer, right? So he did like nearly 7 years of farming, right? So what do we get when we have farming, passkeys and smart wallets and policy signers? What do we get when we put all that together? Well, that's where we get the birth of Kale, right? So this is how Kale all came about, right? And I've shown you how, we do a plant, we do some work, which is actually doing proof of work, and then we harvest, and then you get rewarded with Kale tokens, right? So when we put the policy signers, right, when he incorporated that, right, then he was able to automate that process, right, so he wasn't able to do manually. So now you can just do this, you authorize it once and it will just go off, as long as it's in an active window, right? So that's the birth of Kale, right? So since then we've had some lots of upgrades, right? So we had the launch of Kale, right, which was actually done by another dev called Elliot, right? And with Kale, and this is he's got his elliottfriend.com website, which is hosted on, and this is the trading post that he launched, right? So you can do kale into other vegetables, right? Now the big thing that happened was after all of this, Tyler put out a request to everyone to donate some kale so that he could provide some liquidity for an AMM, right? And when he did this, he launched all the token and all that, and the result was that he gave us a 500x airdrop on all our token, right? So that was really, really cool, right? So yeah, that all went live and very successful, and it was really, really fantastic, obviously, right? Back to the Kale, right? He had these initial vegetables here, and then he launched another vegetable, Brussels sprouts, right? So that was another vegetable added. And yeah, then we come back to what was upgraded on the kale, right? So for kale farming, he swapped it over to kalefarm.xyz. We had to create a new wallet to use the new version. And he added in this little audio player that sort of helps with keeping the window live for some people, right? I don't need to use it, but it's there if you need to. We also got this nice little update to the display, right? So you can see your staking, how many zeros the proof of work's doing. But most notably, the best part was when the harvest happens, right? So you can see actually how much harvest you're getting per block, right? So that was really, really cool. Back to the Kale, the trading here, right? We've got a tractor that was launched, right? So sometimes, if you miss harvesting your pails, right, you can type in your wallet here, right, and it will find the pails for you, right, and then you can just select those and harvest them, right? Now the max is 29 pails per time, right? But when you click the button there, it'll just select 29 anyway, right? So because you could have a lot of pails here that need to be collected, and then you harvest your kale and bang, there you go, right? Comes up nicely. So coming back to the kale farming, what happened next was that tractor was put into the farming process, right? So now once an hour, it will just do the harvest and do everything. Because what was happening was that obviously everyone that's farming was doing everything at the same time, and this was causing some failures on the network. So by staggering everything now, that reduced the amount of failures by a tremendous amount. So this was really, really cool. Now, sometimes if this harvester hasn't been able to work because, say there's more than 29 pails, right, you can just go back and do it manually on the Kale website. right? So that's really, really cool. Then we had a few links added to the website, right? This was, at one stage we had to upgrade our wallets, right? Now, if you're a new farmer, you won't have to worry about this. It was just, there was a vulnerability to be fixed, right? So that was added. So that's there if you need it. And then we've got, you can buy a launch tube token, right? Now, the launch tube is so that you don't have to pay any network fees with XLM, right? This is used for the GPU, CPU miners that you can use. Fred's got a video on his website, so if you want to go and check that out, you know, if you want to do it by command line, you know, you can go ahead and do it that way, right? And the last thing to be sort of updated as far as this little ecosystem goes was that the kitchen went live, right? And this turns out to be NFTs, right? And they're salad NFTs for some reason, right? So that's pretty cool. So now we've got NFTs as part of you know, being able to be bought with. Well, you got to use your kale, and then you use you trade that into the other vegetables, and then a portion of each of the vegetables you can buy an NFT, right? So I got in real quick here, you know, because I actually had vegetables just sitting there. So as soon as it was launched, I actually managed to get the very first one that was available to the public, right? So that was pretty cool. So yeah, so that's just the initial sort of updates that have been happening, right? And you know, to the interface and what's been happening. You can see there's quite a lot happening already. And in the next section, I'm going to show you, you know, some really, really cool things that have developed after this. Now, one of the long-term platforms on Stellar has been one called Lightmint, right, which is a NFT platform, right? And this was created by Fred and Jiun, which seemed to be a husband and wife team, right? So they created this, and you know, I used to get drops of their NFTs, right? So I minted quite a few of these. This was a way of get people to connect to them and all that. This was quite a long time ago, right? And with Lightmint, right, they've had an upgrade, right? This is what the website looks like now. It's really nice and clean. They still do the NFTs marketplace, but they also do a game, right, which is going to be a trading card game, which it's currently in alpha, right? And this trading card game, which looks like this, if you click on the vault here, you can see they've integrated Kale. Right, so this is a big thing for Kale, because now you're starting to see a mem coin go through utility, right? And this is what I've been saying about this this Kale, right? Is that, yeah, sure, it's starting off very slow, and you know, it just seems like they're just testing a few things out. But now you're starting to see it be integrated and have real actual utility, right? So this is why I'm really, really watching this project, right? Back in the day as well, old Tyler, you know, he was doing smart NFTs, right? So he was doing his own drops, right? And you can see here, September 3rd, 2021, which is probably around the time that I was getting my Lightmint NFTs anyway. And you can see here it's powered by the Lightmint beta, right? And yeah, like I said, you know, like this is how they get airdropped into your wallets, right? And yeah, here, right, you can see here he had a competition. I think it was just sort of, you know, one of ones that went out, and yeah, and then he selected a winner, and then you could claim them in your wallet, right? So Tyler has a history in the smart NFTs as well. Now, what Kyle has been working on lately, though, is been this MCPs, right? This is a sort of a new thing that's come out with AI agents and all that, right? So what this model context protocol does is an open standard for connecting AI assistants into the systems where data lives, okay, right? So this is all AI agents, right? So now that these AI platforms, you can get them to do certain things, but now they can actually connect out into the real world and actually perform tasks, right? So this is what Tyler's been using. He's been using Claude and the Cloudflare MCP servers, right? Putting those together and using this to mint tokens, right? So he says, okay, go out there, have a look at all the news for this, for my current state, and create a token that way, right? So it goes out, has a look at the news, right? says, I'm going to create this token with this supply and this token code, and goes out and does it all for you, right? So you're starting to see this is the future of how work will be done, right? So you're taking away having to know so much knowledge about how to mint a token and all this sort of thing, and it will all be done through NCPs and AI agents, right? So this is really, really cool stuff, right? And this is the guy that does Kale, and he's doing this now, right? So I'm going to show you how this is all starting to incorporate. Right, so you take this contract, right, you put it into your wallet, same old thing, just like adding a normal token, right, and bang, there you go, token's created, right? Really, really, really cool stuff, right? And you didn't have to do anything, you didn't have to add any technical knowledge, right? The AI agents just went off and did it for you, right? So when we take this process, right, and we add in, let's say we say, okay, let's make pixel art, let's make a song with audio, right, and create an NFT with that, right? Now we start to get things like this, right? So you can incorporate Kale, right, and do it this way, right? What if he goes off and says, okay, make something with farmers and hedge funds, right? There we go again, right? There's another song. What if we have Batman on a rainbow, right? Anything you want, right? But you can see, right, how you don't actually have to have knowledge about NFTs anymore, right? You just tell it what you want and it'll go off and create these things, and it actually gets put on the blockchain, right? So these things are really, really powerful. Now, what did Tyler do with this, right? Well, now he's created something called Smol, right? So now we have more utility coming out, right? So you can start to see how this ecosystem is really, really building out, right? And you see at the top there, he's already using passphrases, right? So you can create wallets, right, through that using smart wallets, right? So who knows where this is going to go, right? Now, I can only assume that Kale is going to be integrated into this. I don't know what sort of business plan, if there's any at all, whether, can you charge for AI creating songs for you or anything like that. But you've got to figure, when you look at things like this and you look into the year 2030, this is the type of thing that, will take over iTunes, right, or Spotify and all that, right? And you get the incorporation of all this Web3 technology, right? So now it becomes payments, trackable, immutable. You'll be able to have transparency on everything as well, right? This is where it's all coming in, right? And you're starting to see the real utility of this, which is really, really awesome. Sky Hits is another stellar project, right? They just did this yesterday. Put this out, this little poll of, do you want to see exactly this, what Tyler just created, right? So you can imagine that Sky Hits, they're going to be doing this as well, right? So they're going to look for them to be putting out all the passkey stuff and all that as well, right? So you're really starting to see these ecosystems build up, right? Now, the way I want you to look at this too, right, is that in the future, right, and I'm talking 2030, right, say you've got a CEO, right, and he's got a marketing team, right? Well, he's not going to need that marketing team anymore when he uses these, right? He's just going to go in and go, okay, I got a product, I want you to create a marketing plan for me, I want you to do the ads for me, I want you to do the videos, I want you to do the songs for him and all that, and it'll just go off and create all those things using AI agents and MCPs, right? So this is how powerful all this stuff is, right? Here's another example here that Tyler did, right? So Blend is a project on Stellar as well, right? Which does all pooling and all that type of thing, financials, right? He went off to their V2 contract, added that and said, start tracking this contract, bring that in and, get the functionality for that, right? So he does that, brings it all in, and now he's got all these financial tools that he can just, and like, this is him typing at the moment too, so, right, you can talk to these things as well. So you just be, if you're a trader, right, now you don't even have to have any access to your exchange or anything like that. You just go, here you go, here's all the tools. I want you to go off and trade this coin for me, or get the best price for me, or launch this pool, these are all these really cool things that are really going to start coming into our society, right? Really crazy stuff. I love all this stuff. It's really fantastic. Now, when I first showed you Kale a few months ago in my videos on the upgrades of the blockchain, I said then, I don't know what this is, but it's something, right? Now, I'm really showing you what this is really turning into, right? Because this is really, really cool stuff. So we've gone from this very, very basic, farming tool, right? And had all the upgrades there to having a trading post, right? NFTs launched, right? We've got incorporation for utility into a game on the Stellar network. And now we've got these audio NFTs, right, that have appeared, right? And this is just the start, but you can see just in a matter of a few months how much this has sort of grown into being a lot of different things, right? And, like I said, with all the incorporation of AI agents, who knows where this is going to be going, right? So this is a project that I'm really, really excited about, just purely because it's, great to see all this technology in use, right? And, how it's going to affect our futures, I'm really, really excited about it. So, so hats off to Tyler and all the devs over at Stellar, right? This is really, really great. And I'll tell you one thing too, over in Stellar, the devs are really, really welcoming, right? We talk to them on Discord, they're in there, they answer your questions immediately, right? They're really transparent in what they're doing and all that, as much as they can be. And these are really, really busy guys, so it's a really welcoming community over there. It's really, really cool. So Kale's also available, like it's been put into SoroSwap now, it's on StellarX, it's on LumenSwap, right? So it's all available out there to trade as well, right? So if you don't want to do farming, because the farming rates actually dropped down a lot, and I don't know actually how much longer I'll be farming. I'm sort of just doing it for a bit of fun at the moment now, because you're only getting like 1 or 2 Kale at the moment, But you can go out there and buy a Kale if you want to buy it. Who knows where this goes in the future, right? I'm certainly going to keep an eye on it. I talk to the devs regularly through Discord and all that. So that's really cool. And I think that's it for the video. That's something to be really excited about. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you later.